Now on DVD and video, Richard Gere and Diane Lane in the steamy thriller.
Hi everyone, today we are going to discuss the 2002 drama thriller film Unfaithful. Have fun while watching. Living in the New York City suburbs, Edward and Connie are a contented and prosperous family with an 8-year-old son. Charlie, the son, could have had it all. But one wet day, Connie defied her husband and went to work in the city. She needed to get ready for a big auction in Soho, so she ended up in windy New York. It wasn't practical to call a taxi there. Afterward, she runs into a young man carrying a big stack of books, and they collide, falling to the sidewalk. Feeling ashamed, Connie tries to pick up the books that are strewn all over the floor. Then, she asks the man to help her call for a taxi. When the man notices that the woman has a broken knee, he invites her to come to his house so he can treat the wound. It turns out that he lives in the same house. After tending to the wounds, Connie contacts her son using the apartment owner's phone, giving the impression that she is a family woman, even though this makes her feel extremely uncomfortable. This information does not faze the boy, who introduces himself. She finds out that he is 27 years old, and makes his living by reselling rare books, and when the woman is about to leave, Paul offers her the book as a memento and even suggests that she read a passage from page 15. Connie is moved by these words in the book and departs from Paul's apartment. However, on the way home, her son discovers a cut on his mother's knee. He takes amusing pictures with her. In response to her awkward words of gratitude, Connie herself tells her husband that a handsome young man named Edward saved her. He jokingly offers to send her savior a bottle of wine as a token of gratitude. The following morning, Connie decides to look through the book she borrowed from Paul, and discovers that a business card with his phone number has fallen out. When she gets to Central Station, she decides to call him for a short while before hanging up. Paul asks Connie over for coffee right away, and she accepts. When she gets there, Paul makes her coffee as promised and shows her a book that is written in Braille. He also holds her hand as he reads the book. Though she chooses to leave, Connie is attracted to the guy as well. She arrives at Edward's place of employment, says hello to his coworkers and their friend Bill, and gives her husband a jumper. She also tells him that she will work at the auction this time with their friend Bob. That evening, Edward notices that his wife is considering something, but he doesn't pay attention. The following day, Connie returns to Paul's house, and almost immediately he asks her to dance. Connie realizes she might do something foolish and tries to leave. But when she goes back to get her coat, the guy knocks her down and takes her to his bedroom. On the train ride home, the woman remembers what happened between her and Paul. Suddenly the music stops, and Paul walks away for a minute. She starts to worry while Edward sees his friend Bob, and discovers that Connie hasn't discussed any auctions with him. As time goes on, Connie and Paul continue to meet regularly. One day, he invites her to lunch at a cafe. Her husband's subordinate notices this, and in the evening, Edward joins his wife in the bathroom. However, she declines, stating that she needs to go to the salon for a beauty massage. Still hoping that his suspicions are unfounded, Edward calls a member of the salon's staff, and his fears are realized. Later, when Connie gets to Paul's house, she runs into some friends who invite her to a nearby coffee shop. Connie calls her lover to let him know she will be late, but Bill's final warning to take better care of his wife drives him to hire a private investigator to monitor her. The man flies to Chicago for a day, during which the investigator takes pictures of Connie and her lover. The woman is so consumed in her affair that she even forgets to pick up her son from school. And she worries about it all night. When the investigator returns, he tells Edward everything about his wife's meetings with Paul and provides him with the address with the photos. When Connie decides she can no longer stand it, she approaches Paul to end their relationship on the street. Enviously, she follows them inside the library after seeing him being attacked by a small girl. When Edward gets to Paul's house, they miraculously warm up, with Connie running out of the doorway. The man enters the apartment and meets Paul. He lets Edward in, pours him a drink, and calmly answers all of his questions. These responses cause him more and more emotional wounds by the bedside. The man is ultimately knocked off balance when Edward discovers a snow globe he gave to his wife, who then gave it to her lover. He loses control of himself and uses the snow globe to beat Paul twice in the head. He then hears the crunch of a skull and falls to the ground. Upon realizing what he had done, Edward initially wanted to call the police. But instead, he chose to cover up the evidence. He wrapped Paul's body in a carpet and carried it out of the apartment when he heard his wife's voice on the answering machine. She sobbingly informed her lover that they could no longer fool their family and that their relationship was over. When he gets to the school play, Edward changes into a new outfit in the bathroom, throws away his stained shirt, and heads to the auditorium, where Connie is waiting for him. This is the first time in a long time that Edward has shown him tenderness. Edward takes Paul's body to the dump and buries it in a pile of garbage. After that, he takes the car to the car wash. Since then, the man has noticed that his wife has begun to show warm feelings for him again. But Edward himself has nightmares one day. When only Connie and her son were at home, the police came to the house and said that Paul's wife had reported him missing and that they had found a piece of paper with Connie's phone number. The woman replies that she barely knew Paul, she was going to buy some books from him, but her reaction to the news about his wife gives her away. Nevertheless, the police leave and the family's life briefly returns to normal a week later. However, the police return to report that Paul has been found dead. The detectives ask the woman if she has ever been to Soho where Paul lived, and remind her of a traffic ticket she received in Soho. On the same day, she almost forgot to pick up her son from school. She replied that she was there at a cafe with friends. When asked how she and Paul met, she says it was at a concert, unexpectedly. Her husband confirms this, saying that he was there with his wife. When Edward notices his wife is being pressed by the police, he takes them outside and leaves her to talk about her experiences on her own. The next day, Connie picks up Edward's coat from the dry cleaners and finds photos taken by the detective in his pocket. After that, she realizes that her husband knew about her affair with Paul in the evening at a party with friends. She notices that the snow globe she gave Paul is back in place. She realizes by the look in Edward's eyes that he has done away with her lover and left her alone. They begin to clarify their relationship.